Hey guys, we need to talk about what Andy Muschietti said about the Flash movie, one of the most famous characters in the DC universe, because it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable someone would give such an excuse to justify one of the reasons for the movie's failure. Anyway, in today's video, we will discuss this because it is controversial what he said during this interview, because it shows that he is not fit to direct the Batman movie in the DCU and much less a Flash movie. All right, we will talk about all this, but before we start, don't forget to click the like button, comment below, and subscribe for more content like this. Also follow our other social networks, Instagram and Threads, where I will also update you about this universe we love so much. As we know, in recent weeks, director Andy Muschietti must be in Argentina, and he is giving a bunch of interviews for various podcasts out there, and invariably they ask him about DC Films issues, both for Batman, the Brave and the Bold, as well as the Flash movie's failure, which is precisely regarding the film's flop that his quote went viral online. Well, let's hear what he said. He spoke within a whole context that I will explain later. He said, apart from all the other reasons, it wasn't a movie that appealed to the four quadrants. It failed at that. When you spend $200 million making a movie, Warner wants to bring even your grandmother to theaters. And I found out in private conversations that a lot of people just don't care about the Flash as a character, particularly the two female quadrants. When he refers to the two female quadrants, I think he meant it's like the age relationship of the female audience, because there is an 18-year-old woman who should want to see the movie just like a 60 or 70-year-old woman would. He says that when Warner gives $200 million for such a project, they want even your grandma, his words, to watch the movie. And this ended up demobilizing the film's box office. This quote became very controversial because he's basically placing part of the blame for the film's flop on women who didn't want to see it. But he also said other things. Later on, other factors piled up like, fatigue with superhero genre. He also recalled in the interview all that controversy involving Ezra Miller, which you remember, right? Because Ezra was constantly in police news for assaults and stuff like that. And Andy Muschietti admitted that this served as a negative factor for promoting the film. The whole controversy involving Ezra Miller really did hurt the film regarding hype building and expectations, right? Because there was Batman and Supergirl, right? That's obvious. But I have serious criticisms when he says people weren't interested in Flash as a character. How can a director who directed The Flash say this? How can he have the courage? No, man, that's absurd. We're talking about one of DC's most recognizable characters, and saying people weren't interested in Flash as a character is nonsense. You know why people didn't like or weren't interested in the Flash movie? Because it wasn't that good. People were outraged by that PS2 doll CGI. Maybe some just wanted to see the Flash movie, And not a poorly made Flashpoint movie, but okay, he wants to keep talking from a more general public aspect, okay? But let's talk then about general audience. The Flash had a series on CW, man. CW for 9 years. There are folks who got to know Flash because of the TV show. And you have the chance to adapt a character with a story that's almost 100 years old in comics. And you have the guts to say that the audience wasn't interested in the Flash movie, especially the female audience, no man how so. And I also get outraged that he complains that the female audience didn't go to the cinema, but Supergirl was in the movie. He had the second biggest female character in DC history, and he managed to deliver nothing. He did absolutely nothing with the character. She's a totally irrelevant character in the film. If you take her out of it, nothing changes. He had Flash, he had both Batmans, he had Supergirl, and had that damn multiverse, but still delivered nothing. Nothing at all. We can even say how the whole movie seems like Warner was trying to follow the success of Spider-Man No Way Home. So there are several reasons we can say why this movie flopped. There's also the desert battle, which is horrible. The conclusion of the third act with Dark Flash, where in 5 seconds you have to absorb all that. It's very poorly done in terms of script. But he doesn't mention that. He's really good at criticizing the female audience who doesn't like Flash. What an absurd excuse this is. I even think that in the Flash movie, he does some pretty cool scenes with Batman there. Maybe he's a nice guy to direct The Brave and the Bold, but this kind of speech shows how he's a director who does things as best as he can because he comes off in interviews like a Warner executive. So seriously, right, I hope he doesn't direct The Brave and the Bold in the DCU. By the way, I wanted to know if Andy Muschietti ever opened a page from any Flash comic, because the basis of the Flash movie story interconnects with the crisis within DC. Honestly, folks, I was really disappointed with his statement, not just for not acknowledging his mistakes, but also for this discourse blaming everyone, including the character, for the film's failure. But from now on, it's more resistance he'll have to face, besides having directed the Flash movie when asked about its failure. He truly didn't admit the real problems that film has, and worse, didn't even give a standard response to defend his colleagues, but instead made an excuse to throw at the audience talking about superhero movie saturation. It's impressive how superhero saturation has become an excuse for everything, right? And I'm absolutely sure there were many people wanting to be in his place, having a chance to direct a Flash film, and would seize that opportunity to make a great movie. Compare James Gunn with all the love and care James Gunn talks about Superman. Compare Matt Reeves speaking with all love and care about Batman. He truly talks about Batman. You know, he really researched about the character and read, while Andy Muschietti, I don't even know if he read any Flash comic. But honestly, folks, I was really outraged by that statement he made in the interview because it's clear that he never read a Flash comic and he has no reason to blame the audience for the film's failure because the person responsible for that failure is him. He directed it. So, guys, I really hope he doesn't direct Batman's film. Well, folks, that was everything I wanted to talk about with you all. Leave your opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to click on that button and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next video.